Ditch the fairy tale, princess. It's time to step outside the status quo and blaze your own trail. The path littered with setbacks, successes, and newfound passions. Why? Because when you break away from the script, you start to pursue a life by choice. One that is all yours. Live unscripted and rewrite your life.
Do you ever know that you are literally the thing that is holding you back? I mean, we all hold ourselves back one way or another at some time or point in our life, right? And as much as we might realize we are the thing holding ourselves back, maybe we don't actually know why, right? Because a lot of times we can get in our own way and realize later on that, oh shit, that was actually all me. And at the moment, maybe I thought it was somebody else or some outside circumstance I could easily blame for the reason why I didn't do the thing or I didn't finish it or see something through or insert whatever came up for you when I brought that up. Because I think a lot of times maybe we're actually afraid of getting the things we want and then potentially losing them or failing at it somehow, right? Does this resonate? I mean, I wanted to share my thoughts on this with the podcast today around holding ourselves back because I know I'm not alone. And I know that this conversation comes up a lot with my coaching clients and in just conversation period with my girlfriends and in theory with some of my clients from the salon even. And I say, what if we collectively concerned ourselves more with what I actually want? I'll say that again, with what I actually want, meaning what you actually want versus what we think we should want or do. And I have to say, if I lean into that, that feels really good. Definitely a little scary for sure, but ultimately good. And, maybe you're there too. Maybe you're at a point where you're looking at certain things in your life and you're like, is this even what I want? Or is this what I think I should want? Is this what I think I should be doing? Is this the way I think I should be acting? Because a lot of times, maybe you're not holding yourself back. Maybe you just don't really know what you want. And I want to acknowledge that because somebody asked me that the other day, actually, a girlfriend of mine. She kept referencing back in this conversation. She's like, but you have to figure out what you want. She kept saying, but you have to figure out what you want. And I was like, why do you keep saying that? And she's like, well, from the conversations we've had lately, it seems like you don't quite know what you want. Therefore, you're not maybe getting the results that you want. And I got in my head, I probably had the defensive face look, but I definitely got in my head and I was like, fuck, am I the reason why I can't figure out certain things? Am I the one holding myself back because I won't make a decision around what I want? And why is it so hard for me to just say what I want? Am I in la la land with stories around what's not even possible because I've never had it? Am I afraid to say what I want because it's so far-fetched that nobody would believe it to be true for me because that's not where I came from or that's not their current state, so they can't even see it for somebody else? There was so much to unpack there. And I feel like if we can get really clear about what we actually want and why we want it, it unlocks those little moments where we sometimes get in our own way or we start to self-sabotage, right? Because generally, we are always the thing that's in our own way. And I know I've done other podcast episodes on this. And if you're hearing this for the second time, maybe you really needed to hear it. Like I needed to talk about it today. And I want us to really get clear that we can blame outside circumstances. We can blame past things that happened, people, obviously places, things as the reason why we can't do what we want or have what we want. I mean, are you feeling me right now? Are you shaking your head being like, yeah, Jess, but you don't get it. You don't understand. You're probably right. I probably would never understand because I didn't live what you lived. I didn't grow up the way you did. I wasn't ever in those situations that you have. That is your experience and your experience alone. And maybe this is the tough love you needed to hear today. Like my girlfriend who was calling me out around, bitch, you just need to figure out what you want. I was so offended by her asking me that multiple times. Like, what a crazy thing to say out loud. And we can either sit in that feeling of, but you don't get it, or we can take action around, getting out of that shame spiral or that blame or comparison or that saying, okay, I'm finally in enough pain, quote unquote pain, mentally, emotionally, maybe even physically. I mean, I hope not physically, to actually do something about it. And I want us to normalize, maybe even embrace change. My behavior has gotten me to this point, and it's fucking cock blocking me from getting the shit I want in my life. And I'm the one doing the cock blocking. I want us to celebrate growth. I want you to look for opportunities of growth, because if you're growing, you're changing. And I want you to lean into that. I want you to call it in even. If you are in growth mode right now, I want to invite you to join the Beauty Insiders membership, because honestly, it's an accountability membership where we work on showing up, like showing the fuck up. And in those moments, in those twice monthly calls, we call our shot. We talk about the tough seasons we're in. We acknowledge the struggle, but we also are there to lean in and support one another when push comes to shove. And I know that so-and-so wants to do XYZ, and we are all on the bandwagon with her. Like, you got this, girl. We see you. How can we help you? What support do you need? Like, allowing other women to step in and hold that space for you, allowing yourself to be seen in a container that feels safe, that you know that you can show up unapologetically and you can share your shit and you can share all the reasons that you've gotten in your own way before. But these girls are a straight up community of support and love. And they're all just trying to show up as the best version of themselves and learn what it looks like to become aware and what is even possible, right? Because sometimes we got to be able to say it out loud before we believe it could be true. And I just want you to know that there are places you can go and hang out aside from this podcast, aside from taking me on a walk with you or driving in the car with you. I want you to know that I don't have all this shit figured out, and getting unstuck in certain situations is hard. And I acknowledge that. And I want you to understand that this is my empathetic voice. This is me. I get it. And I get you, because I am you too. I am here learning to do the things, learning how to be consistent with my podcast, learning how to be a consistent, awesome mom, learning how to be a loving partner in a relationship when I've never experienced that before. Anytime I fight with my partner, it's me. It's me getting in my own way, not accepting the love he's trying to give or the things that he's trying to bring into our life, because it's something I've never experienced before. So I find resistance around it, even though I know it's good shit. Same with the way that, being a great mom and getting out of my own way by saying I'm too busy or I'm too tired or whatever version of me that's keeping me stuck. I want to help us recognize that A, we're normal, and B, we can change it. So you got this. If this was the tough love you needed to hear today, I'm sending it to you with a big, huge, yummy, delicious 5-minute hug. I wish we could be sitting having coffee together right now. But if you have a girlfriend who you know is in the same sort of situation and you want to just send her this podcast, send it to her and say, I thought of you today when I listened to this and I needed it. So I thought maybe you could find some value in it too. And send her a virtual 5-minute hug. And maybe even make plans to meet up for coffee if you haven't seen her in a while. I feel like the more that we can share, I guess, our struggles, or the fact that we can take responsibility for our current situation, is so powerful. And it's the first step to being able to make some changes and make those moves that you want to make in 2023. Like, it is your year, girl. We are going and doing the things. So figure out what you want, speak it into existence, figure out how you've been getting in your own way to keep you stuck, and share that with someone. Share it with me, share it with the community if you want to join us. I'd love to hear from you. This is just like the way that I can connect with you on the regular. And please know I am right here with you, doing the damn thing, showing up at the best version of myself that I can. And I know you are too. So always with love and light. And yeah, it would mean a ton if you could share this with your girlfriend, because that'll bring you two closer together.
Creating this podcast is as much fun as it sounds, and it's not hard. You're worthy of sharing your expertise with the world. So I've broken it down so you can start your own damn podcast in 4 weeks or less. Head to the link in the show notes to start now.